Om Agyanam Timrindasya Jnanajana Chakshunanmildamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swarupam Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamlam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Sahagan Raghunath Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhavetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitam Cha नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाशदेशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपे कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कंचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंचाकल्पतरुभ्यः सच कृपा सिंधुएव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। Declaring our dependence on God. In a conversation with the Back to Godhead staff, Srila Prabhupada discusses the American Revolution. The Americans say they trust in God, but without the science of God, their trust is simply fictitious. First, take the science of God very seriously, then put your trust in Him. They are manufacturing their own way of governing, and that is their defect. They will never be successful. There will always be revolutions, one after another. There will be no peace. Back to Godhead. Thomas Jefferson put the basic philosophy of the American Revolution into the Declaration of Independence. The important man of the day who signed this document agreed that there are certain very obvious or self-evident truths. The first of which is that all men are created equal. But this meant that all men are equal before the law and have an equal opportunity to be protected by the law. Srila Prabhupada, yes. In that sense, men are, as you say, created equal. BTG. Another point in the Declaration of Independence is that all men are endowed by God with certain natural rights that cannot be taken away from them. These are rights of life, liberty, and Srila Prabhupada. But animals also have the right to life. Why don't animals have the right to live? The rabbits, for instance, are living in their own way in the forest. Why does government allow hunters to go and shoot them? BTG. They were simply talking about human beings. Srila Prabhupada. Then they have no real philosophy. The narrow idea that my family or my brother is good and that I can kill all others is criminal. Suppose that for my family's sake I kill your father. Is that philosophy? Real philosophy is Suhudram Sarva Bhutanam, friendliness to all living entities. Certainly, certainly this applies to human beings, but even if you unnecessarily kill one animal, I shall immediately protest. What nonsense are you doing? BTG. The founders of America say that another natural right is the right to liberty or freedom. Freedom in the sense that the government does not have the right to tell you what kind of job you have to do. Srila Prabhupada. If the government is not perfect, it should not be allowed to tell people what to do. If the government is perfect, then it can. BTG. The third natural right they have mentioned was that every human being has a right to pursue happiness. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, but your standard of happiness may be different from my standard. You may like to eat meat, I hate it. How can your standard of happiness be equal to mine? BTG. So should everyone be free to try achieve whatever standard of happiness he wants? No, the standard of happiness should be prescribed according to the qualities of the person. You must divide the whole society into four groups: those with Brahmana qualities, those with Kshatriya qualities, those with Vaishya qualities, and those with Shudra qualities. Everyone should have good facility to work according to his natural qualities. You cannot engage a bull in the business of a horse, nor can you engage a horse in the business of a bull. Today, practically everyone is getting a college education. But what is taught at these colleges? Mostly technical knowledge, which is Shudra education. Real higher education means learning Vedic wisdom. This is meant for the Brahmanas. Alone Shudra education leads to a chaotic condition. Everyone should be tested to find out which education he is suited for. Some Shudras may be given technical education, but most Shudras should work on the farms. Because everyone is coming to the cities to get an education thinking we can get more money, the agriculture is being neglected. Now there is a scarcity because no one is engaged in producing nice foodstuffs. All these anomalies have been caused by bad government. It is the duty of the government to see that every one is engaged according to his natural qualities, then people will be happy. So if the government artificially puts all men into one class, then there cannot be happiness. No, that is unnatural and will cause chaos. America's founding fathers did not like classes because they would had such a bad experience with them. Before the revolution, Americans had been ruled by monarchs, but the monarchs would always become tyrannical and unjust. Srila Prabhupada, because they were not trained to be saintly monarchs in Vedic civilization, boys were trained from the very beginning of life as first class brahmacharis, celibate students. They went to the Gurukul, the school of the spiritual master, and learned self control, cleanliness, truthfulness, and many other saintly qualities. The best of them were later fit to rule the country. The American Revolution has no special significance. The point is that when people become unhappy, they revolt. That was done in America, that was done in France, and that was done in Russia. BTG. The American revolutionaries say that if the government fails to rule the people properly, then people have the right to dissolve the government. Srila Prabhupada. Yes, just as in Nixon's case, they pulled him down. But if they replace Nixon with another Nixon, then what is the value? They must know how to replace Nixon with a saintly leader. Because people do not have that training and that culture, they will go on electing one Nixon after another and never become happy. People can be happy. The formula for happiness is there in the Bhagavad Gita. The first thing they must know is that the land belongs to the God. Why do Americans claim that the land belongs to them? When the first settlers went to America, they said the land belongs to the God. Therefore, we have the right to live here. So, why are they now not allowing others to settle on this land? What is their philosophy? There are so many overpopulated countries. The American government should let suppose people go to America and should give them facility to cultivate the land and produce grains. Why are they not doing that? They are taking others' property by force, and they are checking others from going here, there. What is the philosophy behind this? BTG, there is no philosophy. Srila Prabhupada, Rogoism is their philosophy. They take the property by force and then they make a law that no one can take another's property by force. So they are thieves. They cannot restrict God's property from being occupied by God's sons. America and other countries in the United Nations should agree that wherever there is enough land, it may be utilized by the human society for producing food. The government can say, all right, you are overpopulated, your people can come here. We will give them land and they can produce food. We would see a wonderful result. But will they do that? No. Then what is their philosophy? Rogoism? I will take the land by force and then I won't allow others to come here. BTG. One American motto is our nation under God. One nation under God. One American motto is one nation under God. Yes, that is Krishna consciousness. There should be one nation under God and one world government under God as well. Everything belongs to God and we are all his sons. That philosophy is wanted. But in America, people are very much afraid of a central government because what they think that whenever there is a strong government, there will always be a tyranny. Srila Prabhupada. If the leaders are properly trained, there cannot be tyranny. BTG. But one of the premises of American system of government is that if a leader has too much power, he will inevitably become corrupt. Srila Prabhupada, you have to train him in such a way that he cannot become corrupt. BTG, what is the training process? That training, Srila Prabhupada, that training process is the Varnashrama Dharma. Divide the society according to quality and train people in the principle that everything belongs to God and one should be used in the service of God. Then BTG, then there really can be one nation under God. BTG. But if society is divided into different groups, won't there be any envy? Srila Prabhupada, no. Just as in a body, there are different parts that work together. So the society can have different parts working for the same goal. My hand is different from my leg. But when I tell the hand, bring a glass of water, the leg will help. The leg is required and the hand is required. BTG. But in Western world, we have a working class and a capitalist class. And there is always warfare going on between the two. Srila Prabhupada, yes, the capitalist class is required and the working class is also required. But they are fighting. Srila Prabhupada, They are not trained up. They have no common cause. The hand and the leg work differently, but the common cause is to maintain the body. So if you find out the common cause for both the capitalist and workers, then there will be no fighting. But if you do not know the common cause, then there will always be fighting. BTG, revolution, Srila Prabhupada, yes, BTG. Then the most important thing is to find the common cause that people can unite on, Srila Prabhupada, yes. Just like in our Krishna conscious society, you come to consult me about every activity because I can give you the common cause. Otherwise, they will be fighting. The government should be very expert to know the aim of life, the common cause, and they should train the people to work for the common cause. Then they will be happy and peaceful. But if people simply elect rascals like Nixon, they will never find a common cause. Any rascal can secure votes by some arrangement, and then he becomes the head of the government. The candidates are bribing, they are cheating, and they are making propaganda to win votes. Somehow or other they get votes and capture the prime post. This system is bad, BTG. So if we do not choose our leaders by popular election, how will society will be governed? Srila Prabhupada, you require Brahmans, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras. Just as when you want to construct a building, you require engineers, you don't want sweepers. Isn't that so? What will the sweeper do? No, they must be engineers. So if you follow the division of Varnashram, only Kshatriyas are allowed to govern. And for the legislative assembly, the senators only qualified Brahmanas. Now the butcher is the legislative assembly. Now the butcher is in the legislative assembly. What does he know about making laws? He is a butcher. But by winning votes, he becomes a senator. At the present moment, by the principle of vox populi, a butcher goes to the legislature. So everything depends on training. In our Krishna conscious society, we are actually doing that. But in the case of politics, they forgot it. They cannot be just one class. That is foolishness, because we have to engage different classes of man in different activities. If we do not know the art, then we will fail, because unless there's a division of work, there will be havoc. We have discussed all responsibilities of the king in Srimad Bhagavatam. The different classes in society should cooperate exactly as the different parts of the body do. Although each part is meant for different purpose, they all work for one cause, to maintain the body properly. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatrubhya कृपा सिंधु एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। जगद्गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।